Well, Minorcan Navy, here is the question and answer period following the screening of Ship Happens at the Atlanta Film Festival, the documentary by Jordan Bellamy and Josh Gilligan, Ship Happens.
This is so exciting and so wonderful. I would love to just start with a quick round of introductions. Why don't we start over here at the end, just say your name and what your role was in this film.
My name is Josh Gilligan, and I was one of the directors of the project.
Hello, I'm Cornell Harvey, and I was the mayor of Brunswick during this project.
Hey, I'm Pat Kopek. I'm the composer of the score.
Stephanie Gibson, artist on St.simons.
Jordan Bellamy worked with Thad and Josh on the film.
Bill Ulrich, the crazy biplane pilot.
Susan Inman, I work for a nonprofit organization called 100 Miles.
Andy Jones. I'm an island resident, and I decided to start a YouTube channel.
Wonderful, thank you all. It's so exciting to have you with us tonight. I would love to just start maybe with Jordan, and then you could maybe pass it on to anyone else who, you're the director clearly, or one of the directors of the film. And I'd love for maybe both of you to just start us off by talking a little bit about, how this film came to be, like, how you started, how you were interested in it, like how you found out about it, and like, just kind of like where it started and how we got here.
Josh found out about it.
Yeah, so I went down to St.simons Island, and this was December of 2019, and I saw a totally untouched, pristine-looking 700-foot shipwreck on its side. And that was the first thing where I was like, what? Like what is going on here? And it wasn't until 6 months later, when I was like headed back down there and excited to see it again, that I met Stephen Prince, who's here tonight. And Stephen and Carol Prince, they should be up here.
Come on.
Yeah, they should be up here. But they wanted to make a film on it.
Carol, come on. Just come on. What
Don't be shy, come on down.
So I meet Stephen Prince at lunch on the island, and he's talking about the Golden Ray, and he says, somebody should make a film on this. Do you know any film crews? And I texted Jordan.
Were you sitting there that day?
Yeah, at the porch.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So you just happened to be there when he said that, and it was just...
Yeah, it just stuck, and then a mutual friend of ours was like, form up an idea, and so I texted Jorby, and Jordan Bellamy, he goes by Jorby. But yeah, I mean, what was it, a month later we lived down there, and then he let us stay in his condo, and we were shooting right away.
Big mistake.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it was supposed to be done in a month, and we weren't gonna give this guy a non-complete film, so we just kept going, and we just stayed and met all these wonderful people, and they shared their time and their side of the story, and here we are almost 3 years later. So it's pretty awesome.
So it was clearly a lot longer than you had anticipated when you first started out.
Absolutely,
The recovery
yeah.
process took longer.
And all I can offer is the kind of maybe esoteric side of it, of like we latched onto the project because we resonated with what was happening. But I think what kept the film going was like meeting all the people here on stage, and being like, this is we're resonating with what they're going through on a very local level, and being able to capture their stories was just like, originally it was a 2-month idea. The project was said to be completed in 2 months. This is also at the start of the pandemic.
Right.
So it was kind of like there was a little bit of a parallel of like, hey, this will be over in 2 months. It ended up taking 2 years, so we felt very much along the ride with everyone here. So there's some camaraderie of like, that was exhausting.
That's so great, thank you. I would love to hear from some of the local residents, any one of you, just about what is life like now that it's like not there anymore? Like, is it like a bare kind of like landscape that you see every day, or are you kind of used to it now?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's fair now. It kind of looks like normal.
Right.
But I'm sure Susan can probably tell you guys more about it than I can. Looks can be deceiving because there's still some effects that are going on as a result of this accident at home.
Yeah, I was curious, that was gonna be my follow-up questions, like what are some of the effects that are
Well, I mean, here she is, right here.
Yeah, I definitely follow the pollution side of this whole project, and we still find pieces of these ships. Because remember, it's everything besides what you see the ship, but all the plastic that covers the car, the plastic that covers your wheels, because these were brand new cars for the most part. And also all of the floors, they were movable floors, so there was pieces of floors. Some fishermen found a hubcap the other day. And also our tidal system can be, in this area, is an 8-foot difference. And so the water moves in and out, and we're not even talking about our king tides. Our king tides are a higher tide on a spring day. So we call it a spring day flood. But these are happening more and more. And so therefore the debris is getting pushed further and further into the marsh where you can't reach it. And so, and it only comes out at another spring tide. So, or a king tide. And so we're still finding these pieces today.
I would like to add to Susan, you know, all that debris that you saw in the documentary that was picked up, it's covered, and I mean sticky covered. Does anybody in here know what bunker sea oil is in a ship? It's some of the most wretched stuff you can imagine. It has the consistency of honey, and it doesn't necessarily float on top of the water. It may be down on the seabed. And this stuff, it'll stick to anything and everything. I don't know if you noticed in the, when they were picking up the bumper, they put that in the bag. The reason they did that, if they didn't, it would be all over them. The material, that oil comes off, and it's just wretched stuff. And did you ever pick up a piece that didn't have anything like that on it? Yeah, it's really bad stuff. And some of that stuff is still floating around out there.
And another question that people ask you is, well, how far did it travel? You know, it doesn't have to go far to reach Jekyll Island or St.simons, which you see in the movie, but it actually went 10 miles south. So it went out into the ocean, it went south, it went around 10 miles north, out into the ocean, and back in, and around 10 miles inland too. So we know that because debris washed up on our barrier islands or further inland. What we don't know is how far it went out into the ocean. That's the unknown.
Let me just put a different color on this though. So I was raised in Waycross, which was just 70 miles west of here. And the last major event that was of any significance was in 1898 when St. Simons had its last major hurricane. And it completely changed the island. It was dramatic. And there's just not a lot of recording of what took place in that incredibly catastrophic event in the St. Simons area. Then my mother and father met in 1944 working on the shipyards there in Brunswick. And my father's gone now, my mother's 96 and still lives in Waycross. And it just occurred to me that something needed to be recorded. I had no idea that the things that took place over the 2 years after the ship went over were going to take place, that the Coast Guard would do whatever it was they did. And I have a lot of questions about that. I won't even go into that. I just wanted a historical rendering. And I couldn't have found two better people on the planet to put this together than Jorby and Josh. They did a phenomenal job. And I also say, be careful what you tell your friend and attorney when you say, you know what, I think I'd like to do a documentary on this. Oh my God, I need to pace myself in the future.
I also wanted to say thank you to the Princes for basically signing up as concerned locals, and we're like, we'll make a film, and we'll make a feature film about this, and you guys are like, yeah, go for it. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. So thank you. I need to hear from Stephanie. Sorry, I'm just gonna.
No, please.
I just want to keep going on Stephanie and Phil.
Yeah, please.
You can ask the question. I'm just saying I need to hear them.
Oh, you need to.
You have to say something. I'm gonna let her ask you a question.
How did you, was this the first time you've seen it, or have you seen it before, or?
No, actually, I went to Brunswick to the Ritz Theater when it premiered over there.
Okay.
It's changed up a little bit since then, but.
All right, when was that?
In fact, it's better. It's better now than it was at the Ritz.
We had a little test screening with people that
Okay, like what, do you remember like offhand what the changes
I have
were?
a minute to
Okay.
tell you how I met this great gentleman right here.
Please, yes, go ahead.
I was down at Gould's Inlet on St.simons getting ready to take a walk, and I've been trying to get pictures of spoonbills, and my camera just did not reach that far. So here comes this good-looking guy with a huge camera on his shoulder, and I'm like, hey, sir, do you like to take pictures of spoonbills? And he said, oh yeah, I'd like to. So I told him where to go. And then in the course of our conversation, he said, you know, down here doing a documentary on Golden Gray, maybe want to talk to you. I said, good. And then I got the pleasure of meeting Josh. Love both of these guys.
Thank you. Would you like to share something about, you know, your whole experience with this? And how you're feeling now that it's, I guess, complete, we can
Well,
say,
it's been
somewhat, in some ways? I know not 100%, but.
Yeah, I mean, I want to re-edit the whole thing after
No, it's been a real pleasure meeting Josh and Jeremy and working with them and giving them all the support I could. And just thank God is gone. Nobody was seriously hurt or killed.
Did he just go?
Amen.
Got one more participant.
Well, I just like to say, I think they tricked me into being in this movie. But I was asked to talk a little bit about Brunswick and how, you know, something like what happened, how it affects Brunswick. It really affected our whole community, and I was really, really glad to be able to say a couple of things. It was a tourist attraction for people, for some people who came. But like I said, they planted it there. We wanted to airbrush it right on out, get it out of there. We realized that we realized it was safe. It was safe for. We're trying to make it safe for all the people in the community. We realized that we still had commerce going as well. Ships coming in and out, and they bypassed the Golden Ray. But it was a good day when it left. Now we're suffering from the effects of it. And I'm praying that we actually get the cleanup and make sure we clean up very well. But I'm glad that it's over. But this film really, really documents exactly what happened and some of the things that a lot of people never knew. All they know was the ship just fell over. So that's good.
From an operational perspective, most people don't understand this, but we lived right on the beach, and the channel is very narrow. And what happened was when the ship went down, the tugs literally pushed it out of the channel. Had they not done this, we are the #2 Ro-Ro, although he said we were #1, but I think San Diego is still #1, but it doesn't matter. It's still hundreds of thousands of vehicles come in and out of there every day. Had they not been able to push the ship out of the channel and get it over on the shallow sand, all those ships that you saw going past all the time, and they went back and forth every day, they wouldn't have been able to do that. The ship would have been down there in the channel, and you wouldn't have been able to buy that new Toyota because you wouldn't have been able to come into port. But it was a really pretty big deal.
Thank you. Great. Do you still have your YouTube channel? Yeah? What are you reporting about? Are you like continuing to report about the environmental progress?
Well, it's funny you should ask. The Pinova Corporation in Brunswick, that's right at the foot of the St.simons Causeway, last Saturday had a major fire that burned for, it was a week ago. It was on Saturday, burned for most of the day. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing right now. It's always something. You just gotta look around, there's always something out there.
Well, I think we haven't heard from this gentleman here. Could you maybe, I'm sorry, it's completely blanked on your name, but. That, right, you're the, okay, right, the composer. Would you like to talk a little bit about your involvement with this project?
Sure, yeah. So Jordan and Josh are two of my very best friends, so I kind of was along for the ride with sort of, like, I had sort of gotten the job of scoring it early on, due to nepotism, you know. But so I was kind of along for the ride. I was sort of seeing all the footage as they were gathering it. I went out and sort of spent some time on the ground as they were filming, so I was kind of slowly, had a lot of time to mull over it. So it was sort of this really long period of time where I was kind of like thinking over it, you know, had a good couple of years, and I was like, all right, we're editing, and so like, okay, the theme of this is somewhere in there, musically, it all just feels like waiting. There's like this explosion at the beginning where everything, there's like so much motion and sound, and everyone's like, there's the confusion of what happened, but then so much of the film is sitting in the when is it gonna leave, and how's that gonna happen, and how everyone's relating to it as you go through the different stories. And so musically, it just felt like sort of expressing that sense of like just malaise, just sitting like in so much of this on the water, just looking at all these strange little corners of the ship. And yeah, it was really beautiful to sit with all those images and meet all of these people and spend so much time and sort of try to yeah, just create sort of a sound world that flowed with the story. And they made it easy because they're such great editors and filmmakers. So it was a really beautiful project to be a part of.
I love thinking of sound. I love, you know, your choices when, I don't even remember the name of the contraption that's gonna when we first like are introduced to it, there's almost like this sort of like religious, like spiritual music.
Yeah, that's a bad
really cool. I just wanted to comment on that. I thought that was like brilliant, so nicely done. Well, I think we might be out of time, but I just want to thank everyone again for being here and for allowing this film to be part of our festival. It's just such a beautiful film, and we're so honored to have you. And we hope that you are able to stick around and maybe enjoy some of our other films. Thank you again.
Thank you.